set time aside and decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do, when I'm going to do it. I think the sticky part about that is, you know, once your go button kind of goes into play and you're like, okay, this is what we're going to talk about, is to remove the I and kind of not be so candid about certain things, because when you're a mother, you still have to protect your child. You have to kind of I believe you have to carry yourself a certain kind of way, and being a woman. So I think for me, the biggest thing is to make sure that I'm tasteful about the way I come across certain things. Like certain women issues and relationships and love, and even latest one of my latest episodes was plus size girl hygiene. That's something that I thought needed to be talked about, and so I just try to be tasteful about the way I do things because I am a mother.
Yeah, and of course you want to put out content your kids could be proud of. Your kids see the content, they're like, "Oh, look, my mom, she doing her
Yeah,
thing." So
yeah,
yeah, I understand. I definitely understand
yeah.
why you want to make sure your content
And that's exactly, how my son is. He knows what I do. I've even ran some of the content by him, and he'll do his little tweaks about what I should say, what I shouldn't say. I'm still trying to get him to come on the podcast. I said one day he'll do it. He says, "No, no, that's your thing." But eventually one day he's got a lot of good information that I'm sure that some teens could use, and he says one day he'll do that. So that's encouraging to me because I'm doing something positive, and not just in career wise, but in my personal life as well.
Oh no, for me. It's this is therapy. This allows me to
Yeah,
vent when I have to vent, or listen when I have to listen.
yeah,
It's been a blessing me discovering that I have a voice, and I've been able to build a platform where people come on and express themselves as well.
yeah, yeah. It was funny because I was talking to somebody one day about that, and I was telling them that it's therapeutic for me, and I guess it was kind of like, no, you shouldn't use it for that. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like, if you think about therapy, and when you go to a professional and you sit down and excuse me, and they kind of help you gather your thoughts and maybe get through things in life. When you're podcasting, you're doing the same thing. You're
Hmm.
getting it out, and usually, most of us have emails attached to our podcast. Somebody will reach out and say, well, they disagree with this. And I've learned so much about myself podcasting. Have you had that
Yeah.
opportunity?
Hmm. That's why I do it. It's I've been able to grow and change, and it's you can see the change and the growth in me from when I started the podcast to where I'm at now. It's an amazing transformation. I've been blessed to be able to learn from so many people. I've been blessed to interview some amazing people, and there was a time where I actually kind of felt guilty, right? Because I was enjoying my conversations so much that I was like, "Oh man, I'm learning so much." I felt kind of guilty, and I thought I was being selfish at one point. And a guest broke it down for me, and they were like, "But there's nothing selfish about what you're doing." They're like, first of all, wanting to grow and develop and become a better person. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what you should strive for, is to become a better person every day. And and the fact that you're sharing it with the audience, there's nothing selfish. Yeah, well, yeah, you're enjoying it. You're getting something from these conversations. Okay, that's great. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to learn and grow and develop and improve. So when they broke it down to me that way, I'm like, okay, yeah, makes sense.
I think for me, I think one of the difficult things for me is podcasting to me is also like a mirror. Like, have you ever actually went through an episode, whether it be an interview or just, some of my episodes is just me, and played it back and heard yourself. And when I started podcasting in 2020. So I stopped for a period. I probably stopped for about a year. But when I went back and I listened to some of the other episodes, it kind of taught me about myself. And that there were some thoughts that I had that were a bit cynical, and it gave me the opportunity to kind of look into it and change that negative thinking into a positive thinking, and listening to other podcasts, like listening to other people and their way of thinking. And I've met some great people. I've met some really great people. I have a co-host on a show called After Show Vibes, and I met two other individuals, and we just clicked. I mean, even the topics that we talk about, everybody is just comfortable with talking about a lot of things. And we've even had the opportunity to talk about things that are going on behind the scenes in our lives, and just kind of, so you meet so many great people all over the place.
Mhm. Me and my co-host for my show Mentality, we've never met face to face, but he is one of my best friends in the world. Like we've sat down and had conversations for hours. Like I've been able to build relationships. Like this is an amazing community. The podcasting community is an amazing community. You connect with so many like minded people, especially this experience of podcasting. It's very unique. Not everybody knows the work that we put into creating the stuff what we're doing. Like it takes work for us to do what we're doing. It's not just coming up and getting behind the mic and recording. I'm saying we take pride in what we're doing. I've improved in so many ways, but that's because I've loved podcasting and I love what I'm doing. So I want to improve. And so I listen to other podcasters. I watch other people do what they're doing and learn from it. And I might not use the same exact formula, but I still start looking at it and be like, oh man, that's a good idea. Or I enjoy how they recorded the show or whatever they did. I'm a student of the game.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm telling you, that intro you had there was mean. It was like everything in the room was lighting up. It was stars and stuff. I said, "Wow, I got to figure out how I can how I can get this going because it was great." But yeah, you definitely meet, and it's crazy because we all have people in our lives that we're close to, but just like the co-host that I'm on the show with, After Show Vibes, we've never met each other face to face, but we speak daily. We
Hmm.
confide in each other about some things, and it's awesome because when you meet somebody in the street, a friend, the first thing, how you always talk growing up that you have a certain image that you put across. Well, the average person that does not know my career, they wouldn't see it. But however, I can talk to them, without judgment. They don't have to see or know anything about me. We just have really open and a comfortable conversation. And I
Hmm.
hope to create that type of atmosphere in my own podcast. I want Tweet Talks to be the place where, people can come and feel comfortable just talking, because I know what it's like to have to play the role of being somebody else for such a long period of time, to where you have the ability to be open and be yourself. It's like priceless. It is so
Yeah,
priceless.
I love the fact that I can just come on here and be me. I don't have to act any certain way. I don't. I just come on here. I am my laid back self. I have great conversations. I want my guests to be comfortable. I want when they come here, I don't want them to be worried about, oh, I'm gonna like. I've had people send me questions, right? And I don't ask them. There's no disrespect to them, but I don't ask them because I have my own questions, and I don't want you to continuously answer the same questions that you might answer every single show. Like every time you're a guest somewhere else, I don't want you to continuously answer the same. So I might ask something different, or we might just go on and just have a conversation about whatever. But for me, I just want people to come on, be themselves. Yes, we will discuss whatever, if they got a book or something they want to promote. Definitely, we're going to discuss that. But for the most part, I just want people to come on, be themselves, and have a good conversation, and let's have a good time.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's funny because we spoke briefly, and I was wondering, was this going to be video or not? So I came prepared today, but you might have gotten a set of rollers or some So I'm glad that I kind of showed up for the occasion. But if this thing didn't come on and say anything about video or you who knows what you would got, because the thing is I have a YouTube page as well as I do audio.
Yeah,
And there's times when I may speak to I did like a women's roundtable, and we were all talking, and some of the women didn't feel comfortable with giving their identity. So what I did was I had everybody in video, but some people I allowed for their video to stay off so that it would give people the opportunity to see some of the people that did want to participate visually.
yeah.
And it was funny because I told them, I said, listen, you're not going to be recorded, but I want everyone to see each other to get that personal experience. And I said, just to make sure that everybody understands that I'm going to show up. However, and you had a conversation about the bonnets, right?
Hmm.
I was in full bonnet mode. And everybody felt comfortable. Everybody was comfortable to have a conversation because I showed up in my bonnet with my cup of coffee. And they were like, okay, yeah, yeah, this is a safe space.
Oh yeah, no, I come. I'll have my cup of coffee. I'll have my drink, whatever, my water, and I'm just here chilling, relaxing, just having some great conversation. And I've been blessed. Oh, man, I've truly been blessed the last year and a half. Even though, okay, so when I first started, my guests were all over. I interviewed celebrities, I interviewed friends, anybody I could get on the show, I would interview. And then within the last year, I've kind of narrowed it down more to having entrepreneurs, coaches, having people come on who have an inspirational story to share. And I've also wanted to focus on bringing on more podcasters because this is a way for them to help build their audience. And that's one thing I suggest for all podcasters is you need to go out and be a guest on other shows. If you truly want to build your audience, you need to go to other shows and appear on other shows. And so I always love to connect with fellow podcasters because that's the best thing is for us to collaborate. You come do my show, I'll go do your show, and we build and that's how you build up your audience.
Definitely. I think I've done a lot of podcasters, but I know the direction that I want to go in. I listen to shout out to Hezekiah Grice. Um, I still owe him an episode, but we did an episode. He actually had an episode where he had a woman that was in a cult, and I'm gearing more towards the audience of not so familiar situations. It's just not easy to do because I actually had an interest in doing a podcast with the mistresses. We know they exist,
Yeah,
but nobody wanted to come and talk about it. And I feel like if you have a position, why not stand in that position and talk about it, answer questions? I gave them the opportunity for nobody to have their identity, but not too many people wanted to participate in that. But I really enjoy doing an audience of the unusual. Not always it's not always something that has happened yet because I'm gonna claim that it will, but that's normally something that works for me. An audience of people that or interview somebody that's like different that you wouldn't expect to hear from. You know.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Like this, even me and my nephew were trying to work on something for um people who find it difficult to to date in their 40s and 50s. Like these are discussions that we need to have because there's people out there who don't know how to navigate this landscape and being that age. And so I'm married, so but he's single and he wants to,
Right.
yeah. So
That's
it's
true, raw
different.
man. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, I'm learning, and sometimes that's something I talk a lot about relationships on. Both of the shows we talk about different aspects of relationships, and I think that there is a really big division in the way uh the wants and needs of men and women. I think that's the biggest thing that, from what I've been hearing, when we interview different people, or if I have different people on my show, I see this as a big division between the wants and needs of men and women, and the reality that women are emotional and men have the ability to control emotion better than women do. So, yeah, that's something that we talk a lot about.
All right. So how do you incorporate your Christian based real talk into your podcasting content, and why is it important to you?
Oh, how do I incorporate that? It's very difficult sometimes because some topics you need to just talk real about. But in all reality, I think that Christianity has gotten to. I'm a Christian. I believe and love Jesus Christ as well as his Father God in heaven. But I feel like a lot of people put such a division in Christianity and real talk. We are here on earth. We don't have to be of the world, but we're in the world. So we have things that happen in our lives that is right here in the world. So I think it's important for us to have that real talk conversation. And for me, it's pretty much, if you use profanity, keep it to a minimum, because I believe real talk is, if a person has never had a conversation or does not often have regular conversation without using profanity, it makes it very difficult for them to communicate without it. So what I try to do is, if it's necessary for you to do it, keep it to a minimum. And I try to keep most of my guests with, they would have to be Christian, because I think it causes a problem. If I'm a Christian and I believe in God and the other person does not, I may say something that discredits them or rubs them the wrong way. So I just try to stay away from that. The real talk is my personality. It's me in a nutshell. And I'm a PK, so um, it's just a normal way of life for me. But I think there's conversations, real conversations, that people need to have, you know. So that's pretty much how I do it.
Yeah, no, and I'm realizing the older I get, I have less and less filter. Okay,
Yes,
so how do
yes,
you choose?
it's hard to have a filter. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Uh, so how do you choose topics and guests for your podcast, and what are some criteria you look for?
Topics, what I do is I keep a database of content is everywhere for me.
Hmm.
So, content for me may be a conversation I had with a friend. It may be something I experienced while I'm in the grocery store. It may be something I see on television. It may be watching other podcasts, because also a fan of podcasts. So, I may watch another podcast on YouTube, and I have a certain viewpoint of something that they're discussing, and I may decide I'm going to have my own version of it. Now, when it comes to guests, um, I pretty much just pay attention to what content they put out, you know? And a lot of times, I'm be honest with you, a lot of times if when I ask, are you Christian? And if they kind of respond no, then that's probably not a good fit. And some people may see it as not a good thing, but I see it as a great thing because I'm not here to force my views on anybody else, but I do feel strongly about my own views. But content is everywhere. You might be on the next episode.
I would love to be on the next episode. No, but
Consider it
yeah,
done.
for, for me, it's I use some certain platforms. I do have certain criteria, but um, I try not to get into religion. I'm a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I believe in God and a higher power and all. And so from and my like I said, and my best friend, he's Christian. He and we our relationship works so well because we don't push our beliefs on each other. We love the fact that we are who we are. We accept who we are. I don't, he doesn't try to convert me. I don't try to convert him. We accept who we are. And when you can do that and accept people for who they are, not everyone is the same. Not everyone's going to believe the same thing you believe. That's life. And when you're able to accept this and accept people for who they are, it's so much fun, so much better.
I think that's true. It's very true. I think the only difference with when you hear someone say no and a person that does say yes, a person that does say no, there's a difference between not agreeing and there's a difference between disagreeing. You know, and sometimes what happens if you put two people that disagree and one feels more strongly than the other, it can cause a little disruption. Which I do know that there's podcasts out here that love that kind of thing, but I don't particularly. My podcast is more of informative.
Mhm.
This is why I feel the
As
way
is
I feel.
mine. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why I feel the way I feel, and I'm not talking religious wise, but I'm talking about life. This is the way I feel, and this is why. That's pretty much where a lot of my episodes lie. It's information.
Yeah, and I believe that that's something that I definitely think that I focus more on information and wanting to help people and enlighten people as to where there's more shows that they're more interested on that clickbait, and they want to have that content where it riles people up, and there's other ways to do it. There's better ways to do it.
I think that a lot of times people are so geared around numbers. I think the podcasting industry is so geared around numbers fast. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with numbers, but it's particularly the fast. There's certain contents, like if it's sexually explicit or if it's just negativity, then yeah, the numbers are gonna roll fast.
Mhm.
But I mean, if you really think about it, how much of that stuff can you talk about before you tapped out?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, no,
you
absolutely.
can tell everybody everything about what you do personally, sexually, or all those things, but you're gonna get tapped out at some point, and the moment you do, the interest is gone. So for me, I think my audience, I want to be a mainstream line of when you get on this podcast, you know that you're gonna hear from somebody that's talking Christian, but real talk at the same time. And this is always the stuff you're gonna hear. You're not gonna hear one episode where I'm saying pump, 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 get it. You're not gonna get that.
So, so how do you feel? How do you maintain your authenticity and vulnerability in your podcasting conversations?
You went out a little bit. If you can repeat that.
Oh, how do you maintain your authenticity and your vulnerable side in your podcasting conversations?
I didn't get it. One more
So
time.
how are you able to maintain being authentic and being you and showing your vulnerable side on your podcast? And how is it easy for you? Is it hard? Like, does it just come out?
At the beginning, it was very difficult. I was very scripted. I would write down what I was going to say word for word. I would read it, and it felt like a job. And at that time, it was like a job for free. So it was just it started to be too much to when you start out being scripted, you have to continue to be that way. So what happened was, that's when I got back into podcasting. I probably took about a year off, and when I got back to it, what I did was I listened to some of my episodes previously, and I was like, I sound like I'm at work, like like I was, interviewing on an interview, and I was like, this is not gonna work because this is my thing. That's the thing about podcasting. Your platform is yours. You do what you want with it, and yes, it represents you, but it's ultimately yours. So I wanted to make sure that I was being authentic to myself and still leaving my personal life private. And I kind of battled with that a little bit because I really wanted, when I got to a place where I was comfortable being myself, I kind of battled not being too personal, you know, and still saving that just for myself. So now I'm at a point where real talk is me. It's my personality, it's my outlet, it is my um unfiltered, and my unfiltered is not everybody's unfiltered. My unfiltered is my way unfiltered, meaning I'm talking and I might not put a ing on the end of everything that I'm saying. I might just cut it off at the end, say I'm talking, I am. But that's my personality, and I think that is my filter, my way of being unfiltered. So I really just, just kind of now I just put down little subtopics. I might put, you know, a topic, and then I put subtopics of things that I want to discuss in the middle of that actual episode. Recently, I have an episode coming out, I believe it's on the 25th, that I didn't do any subtopics. And I just, I'm in the moment. It's kind of like, I guess writing a book, maybe,
Mm,
or a diary, maybe. It's certain things that I just discuss openly
yeah.
because it hit my mind. And I have certain people that listen to those episodes and they love it. So they love it. I love it. We just gonna keep doing it that way because it's working.
What role does laughter play in your life, and how do you infuse humor into your podcast?
Oh, when I was young, I always wanted to be a comedian. I thought I was gonna be the next Monique, honey. I just knew that that was gonna be me. Um, and I did not really pursue it. But laughter to me is healing. When you have stress going on, for me, when I have stress going on in my life, if I put on a good stand up comedy, if I'm around somebody that's going to make me laugh, it's just healing to me. It's like the direct opposite of a bad, stressful day. So the laughter for me is any of my episodes, you may hear me laugh or giggle, but it's gonna be something that I said that just it something that comes off the top of your head and it
Yeah.
just sounds crazy. Well, and if it sounds crazy, you're gonna get it just like that. It's gonna come across just like that, and it's funny. So it's just me. I figure when you have a career of anything, you know how they say if you have a career of something you love, you'll be in it forever and you'll be
Yeah.
just fine in doing it. Well, for me, for podcasting, if you get into it and it's not authentic to you, it's going to be a stress on you. You're not going to be in it for a long period of time because you're going to get tapped out of performing.
Hmm.
It's like a job. You need to have a vacation every now and then because you get tapped out. So for
Yeah.
me, podcasting, as long as I'm being authentic to myself, it's easy. It's almost effortlessly because I'm being genuine in who I am.
And that's why I I love to do it, is because I get to be myself. I get to really truly be me. Um, and and, and there's no greater feeling that when I get on my show and people can really feel how sincere or how much I truly do love podcasting. This is something that I've been blessed to be able to find my voice. It's crazy because at first I was like, who's gonna want to listen to me? My voice sound horrible. I don't know what the hell to talk about. I'm just making up all these excuses to why not I shouldn't launch my podcast. And when I finally did, it was like this big weight was lifted off of me, and then I truly felt like, okay, I can do this. I can record 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, and it just grew from there. It went from 5 to 10 to 50 to now where if I do an hour show, it's not doesn't phase me.
Yeah. It's so funny because I was like that too when I first started. I was like, well, I'm gonna get tapped out on this. I'm not gonna. That's why my intro says I talk a little bit of this and a little bit of that because anything may come. Sometimes it could be a current event or something that I want to discuss. But it's funny because I had no idea there was so many men podcasters. I thought that it was gonna be a whole bunch of mouthy women, and now I'm like, there is actually a lot of men that are podcasting, and that was surprising to me. And they put work into it. They have the graphics and all the things that you had on yours. It just the men are going hard in podcasting.
Um, for me, I just want to make sure that the people who are listening, tuning in, watching are getting the value because some time is precious, and for anyone to give me their time to watch one of my episodes, to listen to one of my episodes, that's something they never get back is that time. So hopefully, I'm able to give them some value, and the episode that they listen to, maybe it might have an effect on them that they might need it. They might need to listen to the episode or whatever it is.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, I love it.
All right, let's see. Next question. So, how do you stay motivated and inspired to continue podcasting, especially during challenging times?
Um, like I said, I took about a year off of podcasting, so um I don't know how I stay motivated now. I'm a person that having that alone time is really important for me. So I think and that is the time when the content kind of comes to me. So I think I'm motivated as long as I have content. Like what I try to do is keep a long list of things that I want to discuss. And as long as I have that, then I'm pretty good. I'll have all the content and motivation I need. Yeah.
All right. So you mentioned taking time off, and so how do you prioritize self care and personal growth amidst your busy schedule? Because I know being a parent, being a professional, and then podcasting. How do you take time to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're getting that you time, that time where you get to relax and recharge your batteries?
Honestly, the way I was raised, that is priority. That comes first. So, um, allowing myself that time to have that me time to recharge, that is something that it should be on the top of, I believe, a lot of people's list because when you don't pour into yourself, there's nothing to pour into anybody else. There's nothing to pour into the children. There's nothing to pour into the family. There's nothing to pour into the workplace. And definitely not for podcasting. I think sometimes I've listened to podcasts before, and you can tell when a podcaster is overwhelmed by the long chatters in whatever the topic is. They're overwhelmed. And like almost when a topic is fresh. Like if a person has just, let's give an example, if you just experienced something traumatic or stressful in your life and you make that a podcast topic, you're going to know because the passion is going to be so deep and you're going to chatter so long and so strong about it so the viewers or listeners are going to know that okay, this is her life she's talking about. This is
Oh,
something
I
that
had
even if you put it in third person as though it's not you.
no,
Yeah.
I had that situation come up not that long ago. I do a morning show close by in the AM, and recently, 2 months ago, I buried my mom, and I did an episode talking about a mother's strength and everything, and it was a difficult episode for me to get through because it was still fresh, it was still having my mom and losing my mom, and but I was able to get through the episode, and I was able to do it,
Yeah.
and I had someone reach out and say, "Great episode," even though I felt like I sucked at it because I kept
Yeah.
breaking down and having moments, but the fact that I went
Yeah.
through and continued through the episode, and somebody is like they're like your dog. You really we showed that you really this was something real hard for you, but you continued and you made something of the episode. So thank you. I was like, oh man, that was like very inspirational to me.
And see, two things actually came out of that because you were talking about your mom, but there's somebody that was listening. Like, remember when I said that you people look at podcasts and it's just a person behind a microphone talking. That's so not true because you're reaching an audience of people that you can't see. And there's
Hmm.
people that know you personally that are listening to your podcast and will not say anything. They won't comment. They are paying attention, and you may be helping them with something. You know, somebody heard something that you said about that episode and was like, okay, you know what? And when it comes to men, because that's something that we talk about often on After Show Vibes, is men and emotion. You know, society has made it to where men are not supposed to be emotional. They're not supposed to be connected to their emotional side because men have to grow up, like taught if you fall down, don't cry. If you scrape your knee, don't cry. If you fall off the bike, and this is what is put in their head. So you being, and I know it was a difficult, I can imagine it was a difficult experience going through that episode, but at the same time, you were, pushing somebody else through something that may not have been in touch with their emotional side.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of those rough episodes. So what are your goals and aspirations for the future of Tweet Talks?
Well, I like I like to become uh, more professional at my podcasting because I know that it's not as professional as it should be, but I hope to grow through. I interview with quite a few podcasters, and I learned so much. From other podcasters, from watching other podcasts, from like even your email. Your email was awesome. Like it was step by step. This is what you should do. This is how it should go. You really don't need to contact me about anything because I'm telling you what you can do right here. So I thought and that's something that I would learn from because when you say you want to be on Tweet Talks, it's gonna be boom, 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 and we're gonna be on the show before you know it. It's not. So I think this. I'm hoping to be more professional and add some graphics to it and but to authentically be myself. Because that's another
Yeah.
thing about being there's another thing about being yourself is that you gain the confidence of a lot of people to realize podcasting is also like public speaking.
Hmm.
So if you are have a difficulty in front of an audience, okay, this is a great spot because you don't see the audience. When you're doing public speaking, they always teach you to imagine the audience is not there.
Yeah.
Well, in the world of podcasting, that's what you're doing. You're having a full
They're not
conversation
there.
with some
Yeah.
people that you cannot see.
Hmm.
Right. So I think that I would like to be more professional at it. I would definitely like to have because I believe there's a difference between interviewing and having a conversation. I believe you and I both are having a conversation right now. I'm
Yeah.
not big on interviewing podcasters because everybody is not an open book and everybody does not want to disclose everything. So I don't really like the interview lingo behind it. I would like to have more conversations with other podcasters. I would like to do more roundtables because I've done a few of those and I really enjoy those outside of figuring out when it's your turn to speak. Otherwise, those are the things that I'd like to do. I'd like to um, broaden myself on the spectrum and meet with some more incredible podcasters and see what I can learn from them and what we can learn from each other and how we can network and get some other things going on.
Yeah, no, that's something that's important for me. It's, my goal is to build a network where independent podcasters can just link together and collaborate and work together. And it's amazing because the more and more I speak to independent podcasters, the more and more you realize that we all have the same goal. We all want the same thing. We all want to create amazing content, but we also want to build the community and have people that that see the same vision that you see and have somewhat of the similar same goals that you have. And that's one thing that I've learned with my fellow podcasters is a lot of us we struggle with the same a lot of the same things.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So it's been amazing for me to
Yeah, I think that's something that, yeah, once you kind of get a community of people and you guys feel comfortable, you start talking that podcasters are um, a lot of us, I believe, aren't really social, but we have the ability to do this in a very social way. A lot of the ones that I've met, and I think that there's something that we have in common, and it helps you in so many aspects of your life. It's definitely helped me.
yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. I've built some just even some of the stuff you mentioned about what I'm doing and my emails and all that. But that's me learning from other podcasters. That's me learning from a Phil Better who's showing
Oh,
me
you
how
better
to.
believe I took notes off of yours.
So, but it's me learning from other people and seeing like.
I was like, wonderful. Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing I made sure I when they told me it was like you need to get yourself a calendar. You need to get yourself a calendar and do this and I've automated some stuff. I get a weekly email out now talking about the new content I might have coming out or new episodes or whatever it is. These are things I didn't know at the beginning that I've learned in the last year and a half, 2 years. It's
Yeah,
a
I'm
growth,
I'm
man. It's a
definitely
growth
learning
thing.
some things now. Yeah, I think I'm learning slowly, but to me, I can learn one thing, and I'm like, yes, I got it, and I'm like excited about that one thing. But long as you're getting something out of it, I think it's the bad thing is when you stay stagnant. You know,
Yeah.
it's important to always be looking for, like, I'm a goal oriented person. I've always got to have a goal. So I think as long as when you get into podcasting first, definitely, say, okay, well, I'm going to start here, but this is where I want to go. This is what I want to do. And pay
Hmm.
attention to everybody that you're around that's in podcasting and what they're doing and how they're doing it and learn from it. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing is to never be afraid to say, I like that. I think I'm going to try that. I think a lot of podcasters need to learn to do that.
Hmm.
You know, don't, people, like you said, we put a lot of hard work into this. So when you get on, like, your intro just blew my mind, but I'm going to tell you that. You know that your intro just blew it's awesome. And I probably won't get anything near that, but I'm going to see what I can do.
It's taking work. It's not. I've rebranded my show probably 3 different times, changed logos, and so where now where the logo's at now. I love my logo now, but it's the evolution of my podcast. That's all it is. And that's what it's all it's gonna happen with you. Is just you're gonna evolve, you're gonna grow, you're gonna mature, you're gonna be like, mm, like you like I got like the intro. I think I'm gonna have to incorporate an intro into my show now, and then there'll be other aspects of other people's shows that you'll
Yeah.
see, and you'll be like, I need to add that to my show as well. I need that in my show, and that's all it
So
was. It was me.
so
Go ahead.
so let me make you laugh. When I had my first, I'm on my second logo. My
Okay.
first logo, it said Tweet Talks in the middle, and it was like not straight. It was just almost like it was handwritten,
Yeah.
and it's and it's so funny because I thought I was like, oh, this is great. Until I started to pay attention, and where I seen my logo at, and I would say that doesn't look like it's even straight. Like it looks like it's handwritten. So you're right. You do evolve as time goes by. You got to start
Mhm.
somewhere. It's like anything you do, you got to crawl before you walk.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's definitely like okay. If you look in the upper corner right now, right, that's stuck in my mind. That was my original logo, right? Then it's kind of morphed into this microphone with the head and everything exploding out of the microphone and all. And so it, it's work, man. It's just me evolving, me improving, me changing things around. Like originally, I had a green screen behind me and everything, and I was like, I was tired of the green
So how did
screen
that
coming
work
up
out?
and all. Huh?
How did the green screen work out?
Oh, it was fine. It was great. I just wanted more of a original background. I just wanted more of a just just a regular background where yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm interested in the green screen thing, but I guess
See,
I wonder what is the
uh,
difference. What is?
well, okay. See, so like right now, your mic is disappearing into your green screen, right? If you had
Yeah.
a green
Yeah.
screen, if you had an original green screen, if you really had a green screen behind you, it wouldn't disappear.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So yeah,
Because
I
you're right
see
now,
what you
you're
mean.
just using the background, and
Yeah.
well, yeah. So if you had a green screen behind you, your mic, everything in front of the green screen would be solid, and then
Okay.
it
And
was
see,
just
another thing is I'm in my podcasting when I'm active, and if I get to move in my head right now, you might see the wall or anything else in the
your hair
background.
might disappear. Yeah, all these things, all
Yeah.
these different things. Yeah,
Right. So I'm
yeah.
thinking that
No,
maybe there's something I do.
it's not just because you don't have a green screen.
Okay. Yeah, I think I need
So
to.
had you had a green
These
screen,
are these are the growing things.
these are things you learn. You learn it along the way. Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
But now is the time where you get the solo screen and you get to plug away and everybody let everybody know where they can find you, find the podcast, everything.
Okay. All right. So first, I want to thank you so much for having me on your show today. And I am Tweet from Tweet Talks Podcast, which is available on all networks: Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. And you can look me up as well on YouTube. Personally, I have a web page that I sell jewelry, and that's Tweets Bling Boutique, located on Facebook. All other information can be found there. Anybody interested in being a guest, whether it's an individual or a podcast, can send an email to the number 2 at gmail.com.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, I definitely want to be the next guest. I would love to be a guest.
Oh, don't worry, we're working on that. Because I got my questions in my head right now.
Awesome, awesome. But don't leave
All right.
just yet. Let me close out the show and we'll chat a little bit off the air. But thank you so much for being a guest. I greatly appreciate it, especially last minute. This is I had a cancellation in my books, and I was like, oh, let me shoot her a message and see if she's willing to be a guest.
So you just put me at the bottom of the totem pole. So I was number 2.
No, no. You was
You said,
actually
"Oh
you
no."
was the first person I thought about when I had the cancellation. Like I'm booked. Listen, let me tell you, I am booked into. I have guests coming on in September. Like I'm booked into
Oh
August,
wow,
September.
that's
Like
great.
I am booked, and so when I get openings, I send out the messages to people that I've communicated with, and I was
Right.
like, let me get you on the show because it
Okay.
would have been
That's
it would have been a much longer wait
right.
had you
Well,
done
look at
it
that.
regularly.
Everything worked out. So now I get to snatch you up and put you on my show too.
Awesome, sounds like a plan to me.
Okay.
But thank you so much. I greatly appreciate you being a guest.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, but don't leave yet. All right.
All right.
All right. Great show, everybody. Anybody who catches the replay, greatly appreciate you being a part of the show. Leave your comments, send your messages. I greatly appreciate it. Big shout out to my Real Wise fam, Poppy J, Brandy J. Love you guys. Big shout out to the boss lady. Love you and appreciate you. Big shout out to everybody in the chat who stopped by, who left comments, especially replay. If you catch the replay, if you leave a comment, subscribe, bring the I'm not good at that, at the subscribing and ring the bell, whatever the hell, yeah, whatever. But thank you everybody for the support. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, big shout out to all the essential workers out there. God bless y'all. Be safe. You know how your boy Wise does it. Peace out.